Hello everyone, my name is Beth Staniforth-Seamster and I am the Children's Ministry Coordinator at Whitewater Area Regional Ministry in Whitewater, Wisconsin. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I'm coming to you with my Sunday children's message. Can you believe it is already the first weekend in May? My goodness, feels like time is flying. Well, let's start how we do. We'll check in. I'm gonna say that it's, a pretty thumbs up day for me. I think that with the weather being nicer, my family's been able to get outside and do more, and I love going to parks and going for hikes and playing with my kids and taking the dog for walks. So really, it's been a really good week. I hope you take a few minutes and check in with the people in your life, let them know how you're doing, and listen to how they're doing. In these hard times, it's a really easy way we can support each other. Well, in today's gospel lesson, we hear Jesus talking to his disciples, and he says, I am the vine and you are the branches. And he goes on to talk about bearing fruit and that good branches will bear fruit. What does that mean? Well, I actually have Pastor Susan's plant here. So you can see that there are if you take this one stalk here, there's all these branches that are coming off, and you can see that they're starting to grow flowers and they're growing leaves. But if we think even further, way down in the dirt, we know that all of these are coming from a single plant. So they're growing up together with the roots deep in the soil, and they're joined together at the base. So Jesus is saying, I am the vine, you are the branches. What does that mean? Well, the way I think about it is that Jesus is that base that's holding us together, that's connecting us to one another and also connecting us to God. And so as we grow in our faith and in our connection to God, we also grow in our connection to one another. Now, John Wesley, who's the founder of the Methodist tradition, of course, we're a United Methodist Church, he used to say that you cannot say you love God if you're not bearing fruit. What does that mean? If your life is not reflecting God's love in the world. And how do we know if someone's life is reflecting God's love in the world? Typically by the actions they produce, right? And that's what he would talk about as the fruit. So you can't say, I love God, but when I see my neighbor suffering, I don't care. If I love God and I know God lives in me and I am part of the branches of this vine, then I know that the person I see who might be suffering also is connected to God. God lives in all of us. And so when I see them suffering or struggling, it is my job as a Christian, and frankly, it should make me happy to know that I can help another person, I can support another person, right? Because I'm bearing fruit of my faith. So we can think about that personally. Maybe you see someone on the street who's hungry and you share your lunch with them. Maybe at school you see that someone's having a really bad day, and even if you're not really friends with them, or even if you really don't maybe like them very much, you can still go ask them, are you okay? Do you need anything? How can I help you? Right? Those are individual actions we can take that bear fruit, that show our love of God in our love of one another. But it can't just stop there, because we are part of this larger plant. I'm going to bring it down. So maybe you're this flower out here, okay? But this plant wouldn't look as beautiful if it only had one flower. We need to see all the branches. So sometimes there are systems, there are larger organizations that knowingly or unknowingly hurt people. And when we see that happening, it's our job as Christians to stand up as a group for people who are hurting. For instance, our country and our church has a history of racism and white supremacy, of people saying that white people are more important than people who are Black or brown, and acting in ways that puts white people on top. That's called systemic oppression. Now, as a Christian, someone who's connected to Christ, I want to be a branch of Christ's vine. I can't say I love God, I'm connected, if I'm allowing my brothers and sisters of color to be hurt by this system. So it's up to me and everyone to come together and to say this is not okay. And oftentimes that can be intimidating because it's a large system that's in place that's being challenged. So just like this plant, if it only had one teeny tiny little leaf, we might not think that could do much. But when we put all of it together, we see the beauty and the power it can create. So when we see things happening that are hurting people, large numbers of people on large scales, it's our job to join together, to listen, to ask questions, and to use our voices and our actions and our bodies to speak out and make a change. With that, I wish you a wonderful week. Go out in your garden and notice all the ways flowers and vines and branches and everything are blooming, and think about how we're like God, all connected back to that one vine. Bye, everyone. Miss you.